Alright, today I'm going to be patching this hoof on this Empire camel. It's got a big hole right here, a little one here, and some smaller ones here. So I'm just going to fill these in, fill this one in, and then put a patch over this. And then I'll probably epoxy it also. So I just got a piece of scrap plastic. Looks like one of the round pieces where they cut out the hole for the light kit. But I'm just going to take the old soldering iron and start melting the edge of it till I've got enough to cover that hole. And like I've said many times before, just don't leave the tip in one spot. Kind of keep it moving. Otherwise you'll burn a hole in the mold and you'll have a bigger problem to fix. It just takes a little practice. And once you see I got enough to patch that little part of it, so now I'm just going to kind of melt the edge of the hole just a little bit and kind of get them stuck together. Then I'm going to do this little bitty hole right here the same way. I hope you can see it enough on the camera. Just kind of melt the glob off of there, and then use the edge of the soldering iron to melt the edge of the hole and to kind of shape it a little bit. Because if it doesn't bond to the blow mold, then it's just going to come out. It's just going to be easy to break off. So I'm just going to kind of shape it to match what the contours of the blow mold were before it got punctured or whatever happened to it. I'm not sure. Just kind of melt the glob over the hole, and then I guess it kind of go around the edge a little bit, get it nice and hot, but don't melt it. And once this, you can see how it's clear right there where it's still hot. And once it cools down, it'll turn white like this part over here. But since this part is painted anyway, excuse me, I will try and find the shade of this paint, something close to this, just to touch up this little area. And then this part on the hoof naturally will be black, so I'll just tape off around that whole hoof, paint the whole hoof, and that way it'll kind of conceal the repair. It's pretty windy here today. We're having about probably 35 mile an hour gusts outside. That's that noise you hear, stuff hitting the roof of my shed. I think that'll do it for that part. Now I'm going to patch this little hole. I'll find something to stick underneath there. get it at a better angle. I'm just gonna get back over here where I was already melting off of there. And just take the side of the tip and just start kind of melting the scrap piece. Can't say it enough. You have to be deliberate and you have to be pretty fast. And don't leave the tip in one spot. And once you get it big enough to cover the hole, you just take the tip and kind of drag it across the plastic like that one place, and it'll excuse me, it'll burn. After a couple of passes, it'll burn all the way through the plastic, and you can just pull it right off. It's just as good as cutting it. Then take the tip and kind of shape it a little bit if it needs it. Kind of heat the edge of the hole up a little bit, but you have to go fast. And just remember that the only way to get it perfect is to melt the whole thing down and put it back in the mold again. Because any repair you do is going to show up if somebody looks close enough. But especially pieces that are down on the bottom, that are going to be on the ground. You don't have to be that perfect, and the paint will cover it for the most part. For this part, I'm just going to find a piece of milk jug that's big enough that piece is kind of brittle. I think what I'm going to do instead of just doing that, I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to mark it off a little bit bigger than the actual hole. It's already got some bend to it. This is a piece off of another blow mold that broke off. So I'm just going to hold it right there, and I'm going to kind of mark it. But I want to mark it bigger than the actual hole. And then I'm going to cut that piece off and use it for a patch. Take scissors. Yeah, that piece is too brittle to use. Scratch that idea. With that piece anyway. I'll just cut off a piece of milk jug. It's real thin plastic, but I think it'll work. Just see it. One time this was a milk jug, but I've used most of it. I guess you could consider that recycling. I'm using it for something besides just throwing it in the landfill. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of it. and do the same thing that I was going to try and do on with that one. Just mark off something a little bit bigger than the hole. If these scissors will cut it. Well, let me get my X-Acto knife and see what I can do. Okay, so got a piece that's already curved, so that'll be good. So again, I'll just, you can see the edge of the hole up here is all messed up. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It's got little grooves in the edge of the hole, like they were trying to drill through it or something, maybe to put a stake through. I don't know. Whatever they did, they screwed it up. So I'm gonna hold that up there. That's where the bottom of the hoof is. And the hole, this is gonna be outside the hole. And the piece doesn't have to be exact, because you're gonna melt it and heat it up, and it will move. So you can see it cover most of the hole. It'll cover all of the hole with some overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it right there, and then I'm just going to start down here at the bottom. And with this stuff being real thin, I mean, it melts real quick. So don't let your tip of your soldering iron linger. I'm just going to kind of melt around here so that it will stick to the other plastic a little bit. And I'll work my way around, and you can kind of push the excess back towards the hole. But like I said, you got to work fairly quickly, otherwise you'll burn a hole in the hoof, and you'll have even more to fix. You can still move it with your finger if you need to reposition it a little bit. I'm making a video, so my wife just came in. So you can heat it up and you can push it around, and it will conform to whatever shape you need without too much trouble. And once you get it where it's stuck all the way around, you can go back and kind of clean it up a little bit if you need to. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this part that's still white up a little bit to get it to bend. May have to use another small piece to cover this corner because it looks like it wasn't lined up right. when I started. Looks like there's still going to be a little space there, but that's easy to fix. So I'm just going to go around the edge that's already done and make sure that it's all melted together good. You can tell when you look at the new melted part along here, you can tell if it's sticking to the old plastic good, because there will be a distinct line where the two meet, and it'll be kind of rough. So all you need to do is just kind of use the edge and kind of rip it together and smooth that out. That will heat the old plastic up a little bit, and it will melt the new plastic together with it. You just have to kind of work kind of quickly, and you have to pay attention, keep that tip moving. I'm going to heat this up a little bit and try and kind of push it and see how fast it melts. You see that clear part? That's almost liquid. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to take just the edge of this piece and melt it over that hole that's left. I'm going to start over here so that I'm not on that part that's already melted. Let it cool a little bit before I mess with it. Can't really see how far up that hole went, so I'm just going to go up to about here, and then I'm going to use the tip to cut this piece off. Just kind of burn a groove in it, like so. And there you have it. And now I'll just kind of melt this down a little bit at a time till it matches the contour of the other piece. This little excess piece I'm just going to heat up and fold it back over and melt it on there. And then I'll smooth at the bottom to where it's flat like the rest of it was. And like I said, you're not ever going to get it perfect. So if you're a perfectionist, this isn't the thing for you to try, because you're not going to get it perfect. You can get pretty good, and you can get it where once it's painted you can't see it without looking at the inside, but it will never be perfect. You can see there's still a little bit of a ridge right through there. I'm going to come back and let it cool off a little bit because it's still pretty hot. And then I'm going to smooth that little groove out. You can, I assume you can see. Let me pull it back. It's hard for me to get the camera to focus and make sure what I'm pointing at. But you can see it. Doesn't look too bad. I'll smooth this edge right along here out a little bit. And you can see these holes up here that I filled in look fairly good. And this will be touched up with some brown paint. And then all of this will be painted black. So you see how fast it is and how easy it is. So have fun. Good luck. If you liked the video, click the like button down there. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see updates when I get them done. Maybe I'm going to shave this beard off one day. Who knows?